The Ark of the Covenant was the focal point of religious devotion, the place where God spoke to the world. People have been fruitlessly searching for the most holy artifacts from the Bible for millennia, and the renowned Ark of the Covenant is one of these sacred artifacts. This mythical relic is the elaborate golden case that the Israelites supposedly constructed around 3,000 years ago. It is believed that the Ark was involved in multiple miracles recorded in the Old Testament. The Israelites' journey during the Exodus was supposedly made easier by its removal of obstacles and dangerous animals. Furthermore, it is widely held that throughout the week of the Israelites' siege of Jericho, they marched the Ark around the city while blasting trumpets, and on the seventh day, the walls collapsed, making the conquest simple. Unfortunately, the Ark, which was meant to be kept in the temple in Jerusalem at the time, disappeared from history. As far as anyone could tell, it was either concealed, captured, or destroyed. Until now, is it true that archaeologists have discovered the Ark of the Covenant? Is the Ark of the Covenant a terrifying destructive weapon? Join us as we explore the Ark of the Covenant discovered by archaeologists. For followers of the Judeo-Christian faith, the whereabouts of the Ark of the Covenant, a receptacle believed to house the two stone tablets bearing the original 10 Commandments, remains one of the biggest mysteries of all time. Popular belief is that the Ark had already made its way to Ethiopia prior to the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem, and that it is currently housed at the Cathedral of St. Mary of Zion in the town of Axum. But the church leaders insist that no one other than the Ark's guardian should ever see it, and they've never even allowed an examination of its validity. Another theory is that the Ark was concealed in a labyrinth of tunnels under Jerusalem's first temple prior to its destruction by the Babylonians in 586 BC. The location is also holy to Muslims, as the Dome of the Rock shrine is there. Thus, that theory cannot be tested either, as trying to dig under it is just not going to happen. Additional claims with more questionable merit are also present. However, the quest for the Ark was most famously portrayed in a film where adventurer Indiana Jones faces a daunting task in the 1981 film Raiders of the Lost Ark, locating the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis may utilize its power to dominate the world. Such biblical artifacts are intriguing to search for. Legend has claimed that beholding this sacred artifact brings terrible curses, yet no one knows for sure where it might be. A man in the 1980s asserted his claim to having seen the Ark of the Covenant in person, and to have located it. The Israelites placed the 10 Commandments in a golden-covered wooden chest, according to the Bible. The Ark of the Covenant is a chest that may hold the rod of Aaron, which infamously became a serpent in front of Pharaoh's eyes, as well as a pot of manna, the food that the Israelites were thought to have received from heaven to sustain them as they wandered the desert. The Ethiopian Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion holds that the Ark of the Covenant was sent to Axum for protection by the son of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, making it one of the most compelling claims to possess the Ark. Claims were also made by numerous other churches. The United States, Jordan, Egypt, Israel, South Africa, France, Italy, and Ireland are all potential sites for the Ark of the Covenant. Ron Wyatt, a Seventh-day Adventist amateur researcher and explorer, asserted on January 6, 1982, that he had discovered the 10 Commandments and the Ark of the Covenant hidden beneath the ruins of ancient Jerusalem. The incident was prophesied to take place, and according to his account, the Ark of the Covenant was placed directly beneath the site of Jesus of Nazareth's crucifixion. According to popular belief, the Ark of the Covenant has been housed in the Holy Temple, which is also called Solomon's Temple, ever since the Israelites escaped Egypt and settled in the Promised Land. The destruction of Jerusalem and its temple occurred 600 years before Jesus' death, during the invasion of Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar. The Ark of the Covenant vanished from historical records at this same moment. As soon as the Babylonians launched their assault, they erected a massive wall surrounding the city to prevent any escape. In order to navigate the city incognito, the Israelites dug several tunnels. Some of these tunnels have already yielded ancient items, and many of them are still in use today. The most holy Jewish relic, the Ark of the Covenant, according to Wyatt's theory, was shut and forgotten in an underground room. What to make of Wyatt's purported discovery? While excavating near the Garden Tomb, a site thought to be near the northern Old City Wall of Jerusalem and the supposed site of Jesus' crucifixion, Wyatt discovered what seemed to be multiple post holes cut into the rock. Wyatt discovered one with a base fracture that extended underground through the bedrock to a chamber's roof. He had dug into a separate tunnel system to reach this chamber. Huge rocks piled high up in this room obscured the temple's valuables, some of which glowed through the animal skins and rocks that had been used to conceal them. Behind this room stood a big rectangular stone chest with a half-broken cover. The golden ark rested within this sarcophagus, beside it on the bedrock fissure in the chamber roof. Below it, on the split stone lid, and within the mercy seat of the ark, a black material coated all three. It was Wyatt's best guess that this liquid had seeped into the ark's mercy seat from the crucifixion post hole on the Roman street level above, trickled down through the fractured bedrock, and then emptied into the chamber below. After identifying the dark material as blood, Wyatt removed a small sample and sent it to a laboratory in Jerusalem. Not only was the blood purportedly proven to be living, but it also had a mere 24 chromosomes, 23 inherited from the mother and 1 Y chromosome from an unrelated non-human source. The Israelis demanded to know, "Where did you get this?" According to the Sabbath House newsletter. Ron, with deep emotion, told them, "This is the blood of your Messiah." To those who aren't familiar, this can all be quite shocking. Newspapers and magazines devoted to archaeology have noticeably avoided reporting on such a discovery in recent years. However, a book written by Jonathan Gray in 1997, Ark of the Covenant, has been a major factor in spreading this discovery. Gray would later become a close colleague of Wyatt's. The summary at the rear of the book provides a tantalizing hook. They called it a hoax till one man went to prove it. So the unexpected truth shocked Gray. It will shock you too. An unusual-looking Ark of the Covenant sits at the center of the book's cover, which is adorned with attention-grabbing phrases found at last, the shocking truth hidden for 2,000 years, the legend they have to hide. The story that will change the destiny of millions. Nearly 600 pages make this a substantial book. Surprisingly, the first page is covered with a series of capitalized warnings. The archaeological or pseudo-archaeological community has long regarded Ron Wyatt's discoveries with skepticism because of their seeming marginality. Nobody could call Wyatt an archaeologist. On the contrary, he was a nurse anesthetist who, during a series of Middle Eastern tours, asserted that he had discovered dozens of artifacts with biblical significance. These artifacts included, among other things, the Ark of Noah, the real Mount Sinai, the real Red Sea crossing site in the Gulf of Aqaba, not the Gulf of Suez, sunken Egyptian chariot wheels, the sword of Goliath, and most shocking of all, the Ark of the Covenant along with the blood of Jesus. The absence of evidence, rather than Wyatt's lack of scholarship and an anti-Bible bias in academia, is what makes this Ark of the Covenant discovery so hard to swallow, thus requiring careful guidance through certain lines of reasoning. There is a lot of debate surrounding Wyatt's other discoveries, but that's beside the point. As a matter of fact, Wyatt supposedly started excavating this section of the Garden Tomb because he had an out-of-body experience. He was touring the area with an official from the Israel Antiquities Authority when he felt an impulse to raise an arm and point, and he heard himself say, "That's Jeremiah's grotto, and the Ark of the Covenant is in there." Here is where the spiritual encounters get more intense. According to reports, Wyatt had a personal encounter with Jesus while on site, claiming to be on his way from South Africa to the New Jerusalem. He wore a garment that had been hand-woven. In addition, there are other reports of those who supposedly got in the way of progress during excavations or attempted to enter the site maliciously, only to die afterward. From this point on, though, things only got stranger. According to Wyatt, he went into the Ark chamber 4 times. Reportedly, as Wyatt scrambled into the room, he discovered that the tons of pebbles that had filled it almost to the ceiling were completely gone. Everything from the Ark to the temple furnishings was neatly laid out and on show. 4 celestial beings, who had been guardians of the Ark since its secrecy 2,600 years ago, told Wyatt to start filming. Adhering to the angel's instructions, Wyatt removed the 2 stone tablets bearing the 10 commandments. Additionally, an angel told Wyatt to get the blood that had dropped onto the Ark from the wall tested in a lab. All of Gray's numerous cautions about following the story in a specific way are understandable in light of such strong assertions. However, these assertions are not made up, nor do they stand independently. It is against Wyatt's specific religious heritage that such accusations are based. Nevertheless, the Wyatt camp has offered a number of alibis in list form to explain the absence of evidence. Israeli authorities have banned the disclosure of the blood chromosomal record due to concerns that it could spark a conflict in the Middle East. God did not want us to see the ark, or the furnishings from the temple were sealed away in a cave, which has led to speculation that archaeologists are in cahoots to keep the biblical record from being confirmed. This is why Ron Wyatt's results have remained unpublished. Envy prevents Christian archaeologists from recognizing Wyatt's assertions, and showing the Ark of the Covenant could provoke Jewish extremists to detonate explosives near the Dome of the Rock, potentially causing a catastrophic war in the Middle East. The Jerusalem laboratory that conducted blood analysis is hesitant to release its findings as these results contradict religious views. Photos and videos of the Ark were severely distorted due to pollution and other considerations. Naturally, numerous issues arise with such claims, not least the sheer number of justifications, which leads to mistrust. One might ask how a formal laboratory report could instigate conflict in the Middle East. Wyatt's blood analysis could be used to establish the divinity of Jesus as God in the flesh, but both Judaism and Islam condemn this. So why would it ignite a war between Arabs and Jews? There have been demands for Wyatt to produce the paperwork he claims to have, but if the Israeli authorities ordered secrecy around the blood analysis, it makes sense why it remains hidden. According to the New Testament, Jesus, executed on Passover, was the perfect sacrifice fulfilling righteousness. However, the Ark of the Covenant played no part in the Hebrew Bible's tabernacle or temple rites, which the New Testament describes as precursors to Jesus' sacrifice for sin. The Ark does not get blood on it, but it had to be preserved in a way that it could lie beneath the post hole of the cross. If this was so important, why did the apostles never mention it? Other verses elaborate on the Ark's symbolic meaning, especially in Hebrews. How could such a crucial link have gone unnoticed? The New Testament clarifies that Old Testament ceremonial acts served as symbols foreshadowing Jesus' coming, much like the Passover lamb.